know you like points. May not be a lot of points tonight.
West Byram going to attempt this field goal from 35 yards out. And this one is good. Puts the first points on the board tonight. Todd passing out of his end zone. Flag down.
Holding number 50, offense. A foul occurred in the end zone. I really like the safety.
Downfield has a man. It is picked off.
Tremendous play.
Listen up, folks. The final score, 3-2. That's right.
It was ugly, but we'll take 3-2 every time we play this year.
10 years later, fans of Auburn and Mississippi State are hoping to avoid a case of deja vu, but both of these teams' offenses are struggling mightily. Auburn's quarterback, Jarrett Stidham, admitted to me that their offensive line is beat up. They're dealing with some injuries, and that's put more pressure on him to elevate his game. Today, he'll focus on getting the ball out quickly, some short to intermediate passes, and some more designed quarterback runs. And for Mississippi State, Nick Fitzgerald hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since September 15th, but Joe Moorhead standing by his starter, stressing that they won't turn to backup Keaton Thompson just yet. Instead, he'll simplify the game plan, hoping for more confidence and quick decisions. He said Fitzgerald's issues have been mental, not physical. They need to get his confidence up early, Mark.
Yeah, Molly, he holds 12 different school passing records. Joe Moorhead, the man on the sidelines in his first year, an offensive guru, much like Gus Malzahn, who likes to hang his hat on offense. His team's running game looking to get on track here after a couple of consecutive sub-100-yard rushing games for the Auburn Tigers. Mississippi State won the toss, deferring to the second half. Auburn will receive. The sounds of football in the South. The Tigers do have a kickoff return for touchdown this year, but Igbenogany will not get an opportunity. It'll be 1st and 10 Tigers from the 25-yard line. Mark Jones, Dusty Dvorak, my partner. You're talking about rip moves today and swim moves and all that stuff,
We're
right?
going to teach some stuff today. We got some quality defensive linemen on display here tonight.
Dusty, both these teams are thinking about history in terms of getting their games back on track, right?
Yeah, last year, Mississippi State, they lost 2 games in a row, and they looked to last season as a building point where they lost those 2 games. They really hit their stride. They want to do the same thing here. And for Auburn, they're 1 point away from being undefeated. So though there's some shakiness on the offense, that defense has been so good. They're right there, not just the conference race, but the national championship race as well.
1st down and 10. Stidham rolling out to his right. Completes his first attempt to the 29-yard line. No, now they're going to say incomplete. Intended for Ryan Davis, the team's leading receiver. Let's take a look at tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
We won't see them till Mississippi State gets the ball, but Jenkins, the center, as well as Deshaun Davis, a linebacker, 2 outstanding players. Jenkins might be the best center in all of college football, and Deshaun Davis, man, does he make plays for this Auburn defense.
Auburn's offensive line a little bit banged up last week in their win against Southern Miss. Little counter run here. That's Cam Martin. Going to be interesting to see how much we see of the backup, Boobie Whitlow, who was nicked up last week. A 3-yard gain by Cam Martin. And it's 3rd down and about 7 to go.
This is a bad area for Auburn. We talked with Gus Malzahn. He said we've got to stay out of 3rd and 7+. And when you're talking about Bob Shoop and this Mississippi State defense, they love to dial up pressure in situations just like this.
Whitlow watching from the sidelines on 3rd and long. Stidham has time, rolls out. He's going to be forced out of bounds at about the 32-yard line, short of the 1st down. 4th down coming up.
Well, Mark, Auburn's Boobie Whitlow ran out onto the field in warm-up, screaming, flexing, beating his chest. He's excited and ready to compete. You can see he's chomping at the bit to get out there. He moved well in warm-ups. He did extra ball security drills with his left arm. I never saw him favoring that side, guys. We'll see if he goes in.
Yeah, he's one of their more productive players. Jersey still clean here after the first series. Aaron Sippos with the punt. Keith Mixon at his own 21-yard line feels it with a fair catch. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from there. Nick Fitzgerald taking the reins of the offense after that 48-yard punt. And nothing on the return. Fitzgerald with 12 different school records and approaching the top spot in terms of rushing quarterbacks in the SEC. Tim Tebow holding down that #1 spot for now.
They want to simplify the game plan, give Nick Fitzgerald easier reads, simple decisions, less to think about, allow him just to go out and play at a high level.
Empty formation, 5 receivers here on first down. Little trips right, bunch stack. Receiver screen complete. That's Dedrick Thomas. And Thomas picks up a few yards. This Joe Moorhead offense likes to take shots downfield. See how it impacts their offense. And what Molly talked about, simplifying things just a little bit. 2nd and 7. Alan Hill is flanked out as a receiver. Play clock down to 10. They fake the jet sweep to Hill, and Fitzgerald keeps it himself. Davison making the stop on the play. Well, Joe Moorhead likes to characterize his offense this way, the Chipotle offense. There's not a ton of ingredients, but a ton of mixing and matching going on. I'll take the lunch special, Dusty. I don't know about you.
They just want to get this offense rolling. They've really struggled the last couple of weeks. They've got to get the running attack going, and they want to get Nick Fitzgerald into a rhythm, something they haven't seen against Kentucky or against Florida.
3rd down and 6. Fitzgerald got away from one tackler and wisely throws it out of bounds under heavy duress and heat from Marlon Davidson. Getting good pressure, one of those 3 staunch defenders up front, along with Brown and Russell. So it's 3 and out for the Mississippi State offense on their first series.
Well, this defensive line for Auburn is, they are deep and they're outstanding. Hits him with the inside move, and these tackles for Mississippi State, both Greg Island, Stuart Reese have really struggled the last couple of weeks. Nice job taking the inside, flushing Nick Fitzgerald outside the pocket.
In comes Tucker Day to punt. A nice high spiral. Ryan Davis juggles it, loses it, put it on the ground, and retrieved it at the 32-yard line. Fortunately for the Auburn Tigers. Well, we're starting the 2nd possession of the ball game. 1st down and 10. So the defenses win on the first 2 respective series. Remember, 10-year anniversary, 3-2. Back at Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi. Mark Jones, Dusty Dvorak, Molly McGrath down in the field. Just underway in the first quarter. And the road conference opener for the Auburn Tigers with their lofty number 8 ranking on the line tonight against the home team Bulldogs. Jarrett Stidham out of the shotgun. Slayton in motion. Little receiver screen incomplete, intended for Slayton. And they're going to whistle that dead. That's an incomplete pass.
Aggressive on the outside by the cornerback Cameron Dantzler as they motion the receiver out. Dantzler stays with them. Just try to hit him with a quick screen. Nice job breaking on the football. Being a disruptive force at the line of scrimmage.
Jarrett Stidham, the Baylor transfer, started the last 3 games of his freshman year due to injury. And then after the controversy erupted at Baylor, took a year off, went to JUCO, and then ultimately ended up at Auburn. Hands it off here. That's Cam Martin into the boundary, and Martin picks up about 2 on the play. Well, tomorrow on Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN, Odell Beckham Jr. sounding off for the Giants' 1-3 start, and why their game plan isn't getting him the ball enough. Plus, Alex Rodriguez, Patrick Mahomes discuss how A-Rod's influence helped the young Mahomes reach the big league. Talk about a hot quarterback right now, Patrick Mahomes.
Killing it right now. Talking about the NFL, we showed you 4. We probably got 10 to 12 players in this game tonight going to be getting drafted playing on Sundays next fall.
3rd and 8. Stidham taking a shot downfield for Schwartz, and he overshot one of the fastest people on the planet. Anthony Schwartz with that 10.07 100-meter speed. Even he couldn't catch up to it. And once again, a 3-and-out for the offense.
Well, Bob Shoop dialed up a blitz. It gets home late, double coverage down the field, and Jared Stidham way too much on that pass. As you referenced, Anthony Schwartz, he's smoking fast, but I don't know if anybody in the country is that fast.
Second punt of the night for Sippos, and they blow it dead.
False start. Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Bob Shoop, the defensive coordinator for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, one of the top defenses in scoring defense and total defense in the country.
Lead the country in tackles for loss. A lot of negative plays, an aggressive style coach. They've done a nice job limiting explosive plays to this point in the season.
And once again, we got a rerun here with the whistle. Bob Shoop, Pittsburgh native, several Western Pennsylvania guys on that staff.
Please reset the game clock to 11:34. Thank you.
2 quick 3-and-outs, 2 early punts here for this Auburn offense, and it's exactly what Gus Malzahn didn't want to see. What he said, we need to be good on 1st and 2nd down, stay in front of the chains. 3rd and 7 the first possession, 3rd and 8 that possession.
This time Sippos will get it off. Nixon again calls for the fair catch at the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 for Mississippi State on the 44-yard punt. Remember now, Nick Fitzgerald had that cataclysmic ankle injury going back to last year's Egg Bowl game in November. What followed was a long and laborious rehabilitation period, because in the immediate aftermath, he told us he thought his career was over. He thought he might never play football again when he was injured on this play against Ole Miss. He said he was distraught when he saw his ankle pointing the wrong way, but months of rehab and he's back on the field. Missed the first game of the season due to a suspension and then came back against Kansas State in game 2. And a nice run by Fitzgerald between the tackles to the 33. Picks up 5.
Well, Mark, Joe Moorhead said that he can see some of the mental effects of that injury on his quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald. He said he used to be able to put his foot in the grass and just barrel through people when he ran with the football. He sees a lot more hesitation now. He said that his issues in the run game are 100% mental. They're not physical. He needs to get over that hurdle.
A good time to break out here tonight. Going to run it again, Molly. And stoned by Darrell Williams, one of the first guys to get there for that Auburn defense. His forward progress is going to give him about 3 yards, though. Interesting that Fitzgerald said in the wake of his injury, I asked him about calls of support from other former players or people who have had this injury. He said Gordon Hayward of the Boston Celtics was one of the athletes that reached out to him and offered some very encouraging words.
He didn't know if he'd ever play football again. He thought his career was over. And here he is trying to put together a solid senior season.
3rd and 2. There's Williams up the middle, got the first down, out to the 43-yard line. Dusty, that's kind of how it's going to have to be tonight, right?
Well, this offense is built and predicated on a physical running attack, and getting Aris Williams a football is a necessity. Good blocking in the middle, a good, tough physical run. I think both Kylan Hill, Aris Williams, both have to be bigger pieces of this offense starting tonight.
That offensive line for the Bulldogs winning on that series, on that play. Williams sets in the backfield. Fitzgerald going up top here, and good coverage at the 30-yard line, incomplete. It was Christian Tutt. He was working against Austin Williams.
And we're seeing some slight subtleties to this offense. Joe Moorhead told us they wanted to have some different formations, some motion, some shift. We've seen Kylan Hill in the slot motion back into the backfield. Now back-to-back plays. Aris Williams starts in the slot and then motions back to the backfield. Just doing a little bit of things to try to make this Auburn defense think and slow them down just a step.
2nd and 10. Give it to Kylan Hill, who's back in the ball game with 9.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. This week's College football playoff rankings brought to you by Capital One. And one of the big stories of the day, boy, look at that L. Florida defeating LSU, and Oklahoma, Texas. Dusty, you still with me, man? I'm feeling you a little bit.
Yeah, Oklahoma, we're talking about defense here. There wasn't a whole lot of defense being played at the Cotton Bowl today, especially from the Oklahoma Sooners. But congrats to Tom Herman. Nice win for the Longhorns.
Thought Kyler Murray had his Heisman moment there in the dying moments of that game, but Texas rallied back to win. 3rd and 7 from Mississippi State. Fitzgerald got rid of it. Picked off at midfield. Jeremiah Dinson, one of the leaders on defense. Boy, it looked like that hit him right between the 2 and the 0. It was intended for Osiris Mitchell. That's a second interception of the year for Dinson, number 20.
And Dinson just does an excellent job reading the quarterback's eyes. He's going to have eyes on the quarterback the entire time. He gets to his spot right in the throwing lane for Nick Fitzgerald. Outstanding job being in the proper position and making a play on the football.
See if Auburn takes a shot here after the interception. Cox in motion, now sets. They choose to run it instead. That's Martin, and he is met in the middle by Simmons, number 94, and Errol Thompson. No gain on the play. Errol Thompson somewhat overshadowed by Simmons and Sweat.
Well, big Jeffrey Simmons in the middle, man. He is such a tough character to deal with. You'll see him inside, just working on the new center, Nick Brahms. Fights through a double team, stays in his gap. Picture perfect from a nose tackle.
2nd and 10, Stidham on the out. Completes it. And this is going to be close to a first down. Tucker Brown making the reception. The former walk-on picks up 9 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 1. They're up at the line of scrimmage going quick.
He's almost like an extra offensive lineman at 290 pounds.
Handoff. Great straight on by Martin. That's going to be pretty close. Let's see where they spot this.
Mississippi State has been fantastic so far this season in the first half, being able to get stops and keep offenses out of the end zone.
.740 to go. And it's 4th down and short. Field goal unit comes in. And actually, they're going to bring out the chains and measure first. Every inch tonight is going to be hard fought with these two great defenses and all the defensive talent on the field.
Little surprised we're not seeing Auburn go for it here. I think that speaks to the lack of physicality up front on their offensive line, especially that they're going against such a physical defensive front for the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Anders Carlson going to attempt this field goal from about 46 yards out. He's only 6 of 12 on the season, but he's attempted an inordinate amount of 50-yarders. This one is right between the pipes by Carlson. And just like that famous 3-2 game 10 years ago, we got the 3, Dusty. Waiting for the safety now. 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Tigers with the lead when we come back.
ESPN College Football. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Try our $5 game day menu. And Chevy. Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Mississippi State Sylvester Croom broke the color line and head coaching ranks in the SEC in 2004, paving the way for Joker Phillips and many others. James Franklin of Vandy, Kevin Sumlin, Derek Mason, and many more to come. As we look at the list, congratulations to Mississippi State for having the courage to pull the trigger and make that move for a very qualified and dignified head coach Sylvester Croom. He was part of that 3-2 game back in 2008 that I had the pleasure to call with Bob Davie at the time. Joker Phillips, Kentucky. Franklin was at Vanderbilt before, of course, Penn State. 7.5 minutes to go. Kylan Hill in a tailback. And Nick Fitzgerald is going to take a timeout.
First charge time out of the half, Mississippi State.
Well, you can stream college football all season long on ESPN Plus, so start your free trial today by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com. Folks, they have a huge menu of games in any sport that you want to watch. Documentaries. Great one going on right now with the NBA, a love affair. Jackie McMullen involved in that project, but ESPN Plus gives you a chance to watch so many great college football games. Dusty, I'll be watching it on that drive to Birmingham after the game tonight.
No doubt, absolutely. Get ourselves home early in the morning. ESPN app's been fantastic. Love using that.
How did we ever live without it?
I know.
First and 10, Fitzgerald hands it off to Kylan Hill, trying to get to the edge, and nice gain of about 7 yards. Jeremiah Dinson making the tackle. Interesting that Kylan Hill, going back to the start of the year, was the starter and remains the starter. He beat out Eris Williams, who was a 1,000-yard rusher a season ago for the Bulldogs.
I mean, he's explosive, powerful runner, very twitchy, and made the most out of spring and fall camp to earn himself his starting position.
Averaging 7.7 yards per rush. Trying to get to the edge again. Hill is going to get the first down. Some hard, determined running. Daniel Thomas making the stop. What do you make of those numbers?
Well, they went back and took a look at Saquon Barkley through his first 5 games under Joe Moorhead at Penn State. And they wanted to kind of see where there's some similarities, where there's some differences. The biggest thing I see here is Kylan Hill is averaging 7.7 yards a carry. Get that man the football.
Let him eat. Overshadowed a little bit by Cam Akers as a freshman last year at Florida State. Fitzgerald going to take off, looking explosive and fast and dynamic on that run. Fitzgerald bruising his way out to the 45 before being tackled by Thomas, but he picked up 8.
He is a physical runner. He's a big guy. We sat down with him yesterday. He's ever been a 6'5", 235. And if you want to arm tackle Nick Fitzgerald, you better think again. He's going to run through arm tackles left and right. Nice pickup on first down.
They're going to run it again here. Good hole over the left side. And this is Williams. Running the ball well on successive plays now, a 12-yard pickup.
Big holes in the interior of that Mississippi State offensive line and good patience. And then a burst through the hole by Eris Williams.
Down to the 43.
They run the ball like this. Watch them to take their shots with the defense on their heels.
4 receivers out to the top of your screen. Fitzgerald keeps it. Nice moves between the tackles. Still on his feet. And just tripped up. Barely tripped up. And a first down for Fitzgerald. Got a great block from Island. And a 29-yard pickup.
Excellent job reading the defense. The defensive end goes with Eris Williams. Nick Fitzgerald takes it between the tackles. Nice read and run for the senior quarterback.
This is as fast as we've seen him this year,
yes,
Dusty.
A little explosiveness right there.
Down to the 14. Hands it off and nowhere to go this time. for Aris Williams. Tried to run it into the boundary, but Nick Coe, one of those guys that is frequently overlooked because of Russell and Brown and Davidson up front. Coe making the play that time.
Tried to run the counter. Nick Coe, as you mentioned, very physical at the point of attack, set a hard edge. Made a nice play behind the line of scrimmage.
He was named the SEC Defensive Player of the Week after that Week 1 win against Washington.
Big-time wrestler back in high school. Uses that leverage and...
Those guys always make good defensive linemen,
absolutely.
Right?
Leverage and hand placement.
Stuart Reese split out wide, and Fitzgerald tried to run it himself. Nothing doing that time up the middle. That time it was Davidson making the tackle. And in a blink, it's third down coming up in long for Mississippi State. A loss of 1 on the play.
Back-to-back negative plays, both made by the front for this Auburn defense. Marlon Davidson, Nick Coe, Dontavius Russell, Derek Brown. I mean, they're just loaded up front.
This is where Fitzgerald has been trying to develop chemistry with his receivers. Need some big plays. Mitchell split wide to the top of your screen. He's their leading wideout. They're going to run it again. Williams put his hat down, but he was pushed out of bounds short of the first down at about the 8-yard line. Sets up a 4th and about 5 to go. He picked up 8.
We've seen a good mix of runs between the tackles as well as quite a few perimeter runs. And it looks like Joe Moorhead.
Wow, is he going to go for it here?
Keeping the offense on the field. He got to kick this. I really do. When you think about points being at a premium, you can't have this successful drive that you put together and come away with nothing. I think it's the right choice to try to take the points.
Brother, you said it. Points at a premium tonight. Jace Chrisman in, 3 of 5 on the season. This one from 25 yards out. And he knocks the game at 3 apiece. We've already scored 1 more point than we did in this game 10 years ago. Yeah, that's a reason to ring that bell. Nice and loud for the people in the back. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone, under the lights at Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi. Part of the country where football is just weaved into the very fabric of everyday life, 24/7. You're seeing and feeling that vibe right now.
Place is lit, partner.
Oh, we got a good seat, too.
Yeah, we do.
Auburn has a kickoff return for a touchdown this year. This is Martin. And Martin out to the 26. Let's go back to the studio and Chris Cotter. Yeah, Kentucky doing a nice job. Coach Stoops got him rolling there in Lexington. Stidham to pass, completes it. Out to the 42-yard line, Darius Slayton with his 14th reception of the season. Picked up 15 yards and a first down.
Good protection, Max Pro. They leave 7 into block. Good clean pocket. A nice pass delivered by Jarrett Stidham.
The passing again, complete again to Slayton. Stepped out of bounds, got about 7. Couple of big plays on that last drive.
And this is going to be their wide sweep. We're going to see Aris Williams come back into the backfield. Good down block by Greg Island. Deion Calhoun's going to pull around. An excellent cut up the field by Nick Fitzgerald.
Speaking of cuts, nice cut on that play by Boobie Whitlow. Whitlow was somewhat questionable as to whether he would play, but he picked up 10 on that one.
You watch the tape, talk about a physical downhill runner. I think the best of the bunch, this Auburn running back core.
Little receiver screen out of the edge. That's Davis. Ryan Davis, their leading receiver, picked up about 3. Yeah, Whitlow was injured in that game against Southern Miss. Hurt his shoulder, as Molly reported a little bit earlier here tonight. A fast-moving game, under 1.5 to go in the first quarter. Whitlow again got a blocker in front of him. And makes it out to the 37-yard line. Picked up 4 on the play.
Now they're in third and manageable, right? They're not behind the chains. Now the entire playbook's opened up. Run game's available, play action pass. Like to play action and throw flat routes in situations like this.
Third and 4. Little pressure off the edge. Oh, but he completed the pass to Whitlow out of the backfield. Upending. Let's see where they spot it. Looks like they gave him a very favorable spot, Dusty, on the 4-yard gain. This is going to be close. Abram with the big hit on the play, and it's a first down for the Tigers. I guess if you do a helicopter spin in the air.
Little misdirection. They bring Whitlow out in the flats. Physical run to pick up the yard.
Nowhere to go on this one, though. Stopped up by Montez Sweat. He was the first one to get there, along with Errol Thompson. No gain on the play.
We talked about him earlier, 6'6".
Prior to the snap, we're paid to review the spot on the field. The previous play is under further review.
Oh, okay, so they're going to go back to the previous play, Dusty. As I mentioned, they gave him a very propitious spot. And they're going to look at it. Let's take one more look at it ourselves here. There's our first down line at the 34.
Excellent play by Jonathan Abram, flying in.
I don't think he made it.
Definitely short. Looks like he's about a half-yard short of the 24-yard line.
That's a big hit. You said it, by Jonathan Abram.
Sorry, the 34-yard line.
Yeah. You played at all levels, high school, college, NFL, Dusty. Can't we get any more exact in measuring? Not measuring, but spotting the ball? Like, we got microchips and all this technology. Like, this seems so inexact. Like, officials are almost guessing at times.
I guess that's fair, but I'll say this. I think officials do a really good job more times than not on getting the spot right.
Yeah.
And we have built-in review just like this. So in situations where maybe they miss the call or they miss the spot, they can go back, review it, and be sure the call is right. Love watching Jonathan Abram fly downhill.
Wow. He was coming 100 miles per hour. The guy that made the impassioned plea, number 38, Jonathan Abram, in wake of the game last week, the loss to Florida, got his teammates together and said, fellas, we have to do better. We're not out of this thing yet. And he showed on that play, Dusty, he's playing with a lot of passion tonight.
Yeah, and one of the things that, listening to Coach Moorhead and listening to Bob Shoop talk, he talked about we're in this thing together. This is a team. It's not on the offense, it's not on the defense, it's on all of us. We win as a team, we lose as a team, and that really helps a coach when a player steps up and owns that accountability.
Here's the call.
After review, the runner was short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th down, 1/2 yard to go.
Okay, Abram, it was all worth it. You think he plays with some energy?
Man, old school, tough guy mentality. Bob Shoop told us there's a nasty way about him. I like those kind of football players, Jonesy.
4th down. Tigers are going to go for it. They're 2 of 5 on 4th down this year.
Watch for the split zone. They can play action. They love to throw it to Chandler Cox in the flats off the play fake.
Cox is number 27 to the right of Stidham. And they may just let it run out, which they do. So we'll start the 4th quarter on 4th down for the Tigers. 10 years ago, it was 3-2. There's a look at the quote-unquote Superlatives. Some of the highlights. 15 of 18 baseball games played that day were higher scoring than 3-2. We'll be right back, folks. We got fireworks. Promise. Welcome back, everyone, to the SEC on ESPN. The sideline is hyped for Mississippi State. A couple of get-back coaches being kept busy. 4th down and 1 for Auburn. Cox in motion. And they might have been waiting for Mississippi State to get them a free one.
First charge timeout of the half, Auburn. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Tigers going to burn a timeout. Well, our Week 5 Monday Night Football matchup comes to you from the Big Easy, and history could be made. Drew Brees is only 200 yards shy of Peyton Manning for the most passing yards in a career. He leads the 3-1 Saints against a revitalized Adrian Peterson and the 2-1 Washington football team. 8:15 Eastern on ESPN, also simulcast on ESPN2 in Spanish, available on the app, so you can watch the game anywhere. Patrick Mahomes, Dusty, is one of the great stories of the NFL season so far. What are your thoughts on his play?
He's been unbelievable. And how about give Andy Reid and the Chiefs organization a ton of credit for going up in the draft, getting him, moving on from Alex Smith, and the success he's had. It's unbelievable. He's implementing a lot of college principles, and Patrick Mahomes has been sensational.
4th down. Quarterback here, Jarrett Stidham.
Empty. Quarterback sneak.
He's going to keep it. Boy, that's going to be close. Let's see where they spot it. They ripped his hat off. Auburn says they got it. Gary Green making the tackle. They're going to give it to Auburn. New quarterback in the ball game. On the jet sweep. Give it to 25, Sean Shivers.
Back and take a look at this last play. Ooh, Jonathan Abram.
Who else?
Physical. Physical.
Malik Willis in for the second play at quarterback. Kept it himself and tripped up at the 25-yard line. Good hit by Danzler. Malik Willis, 6'1", out of Atlanta, the sophomore, in relief of Jarrett Stidham, whose helmet came off on that play, had to come out.
Nice job by Cameron Danzler. Second time already we've seen him making nice open field tackles out on the perimeter. The Cowbells have come to life.
A very workable 3rd and 1. The 11th play of the Auburn drive.
The best lead blockers in college football. Direct snap to the running back.
That's what they do. A little wildcat, a fumble by Martin, and they're not going to make it. A miscue, a costly one. And Mississippi State, fortunate that time. Mark McLaurin with the tackle.
And remember, they switched centers 2 games ago. The 3rd start for Nick Brahms. They wanted more physicality. And a week ago, they had 4 false starts, and now a faulty snap to the running back Cam Martin results in a big loss on a crucial 3rd and short situation. Big mistake.
And now this field goal by Carlson is going to come from, well, right around 50 yards. They're going to say it's 49. Made his first one from 47 tonight. And he's going to push this one left. So it looked like a promising drive. 11 plays in. Turned the other way on the Tigers. Stidham had his hat ripped off. And Gus Malzahn wondering just what happened.
Back here in Starkville, and there's a lot of energy here on Mississippi State sidelines. The coaching staff telling the running backs, when you get to the edge, you need to increase your speed. I need a little more physicality out of you. And another good sign, Nick Fitzgerald going up to his offensive line, telling them, keep doing your thing. I got you. You see a lot of confidence in him, especially in the run game now, guys.
And Molly, his leadership has really grown over the last couple of years. Hands it off to Kylan Hill right there.
Go back to the play on 3rd and short. Cam Martin in at quarterback with a wildcat. You see that snap wide left. Running back not typically used to taking a shotgun snap. Again, that speaks to a young, inexperienced center starting for just his 3rd time, and Nick Brahms.
Part of that shift on the offensive line for the Tigers. Fitzgerald pulls it out. He's going to go over the middle. Got his man to the 40-yard line. That's Osiris Mitchell, the guy they're trying to work on in terms of improving his confidence. Little redemption for him on the 23-yard gain.
When you can get the physical ground game going, it opens up things in the back end. Nice route on the dig by Osiris Mitchell and a perfect pass on time and on target from Nick Fitzgerald.
First down and 10. Fitzgerald hands it off to Hill. Nice move to get those shoulders north-south. A missed tackle by Darrell Williams. Tried to collar Hill and couldn't. A 10-yard gain.
Well, it's a foot race on the edge. 49, Darrell Williams going to try to beat Kylan Hill to the perimeter, but too much speed. A little stutter step by Kylan Hill. A nice pickup on 1st down. We've seen an excellent mix of inside the tackle running and a lot of wide, what I would call a running back sweep, getting these running backs to the perimeter.
Fitzgerald hands it off to Hill again. Hill down to the 29-yard line. Christian Tutt making the stop on the 2-yard gain. Going back to last year, then Coach Dan Mullen told his starting quarterback Fitzgerald, hey, listen, you got to get into the locker room and make relationships and make friends with new guys in the locker room so they see you as an even more important leader on this team. And he has successfully continued to do that. 2nd down and 8. With a blitz coming. Picked up Fitzgerald. Incomplete. Over the middle. Jamian Sherwood defending on the play against Green. You know what? We haven't said much about Derek Brown so far, Dustin.
And I think part of that is why you've seen so many perimeter runs, right? What's the one way to stay away from Derek Brown? Yeah. Get the ball to the edge, get the ball to the perimeter. I think that's part of the game plan that we've seen to this point. RPO on that last play has an excellent job by the true freshman safety, Jamian Sherwood, not coming downhill, taking the fake on the run, staying up and making a nice play with a pass breakup.
3rd down and 8. Derek Brown, the guy we talked about in the open. Maybe the most highest rated player on the field here tonight. Fitzgerald almost picked off over the middle. Daniel Thomas got a jump on that route and almost had himself a pick. It was intended for Farrad Green. 4th and 8 coming up.
Nick Fitzgerald lucky. Almost had his 2nd interception of the afternoon. Excellent job in coverage by 24 Daniel Thomas. Reads the quarterback's eyes, makes a break on the football. Whew. Close.
Very.
Having a nice interception.
Jace Chrisman on the field now, attempting a field goal from 47 yards out. This would be a career long. Made one earlier from 25. Sometimes football's a game of inches. It caroms off the upright and through. I didn't hear him call bank, Dusty. But you know what? He'll take that anyway. Back after this.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Ace, the helpful place, and Audi.
Well, Bully won Mississippi State's first ever Bulldog mascot, served in the 1960s. He's now buried, get this, under the 50-yard line at Davis-Wade Stadium, right here beneath the players' bench. One of the more lovable live mascots we see in college football. Nothing more lovable than an American Bulldog outside of a Doberman, maybe. Fine. Let's look at the different mascots. I think I remember seeing, or maybe it was the Georgia Bulldog, tried to nip one of the Auburn players years back. I want to say it was in the 90s, Dusty.
It's the SEC, man.
Hey.
Even the dogs got fighting them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no one likes anybody.
Now that Bulldog is swole. Look at the shoulders on that guy.
Good looking dog.
Yes. Tavius Whitlow in the backfield, a.k.a. Booby. And he's going to get a chance here. Got uphill and downhill. And a nice gain by Whitlow. Got a great block by Harrell.
Yeah, Harrell is going to pull out. He's going to get outside. Excellent job leading the way for Whitlow. Ooh, nice block.
Toss into the boundary. Whitlow again. Across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Whitlow 6 feet. Lafayette, Alabama. Team's leading rusher coming into the game tonight, averaging over 5.3 per carry. Stidham gets rid of it quickly, complete. That's Davis. And Davis going to be stopped out about a yard short. 3rd and short, a manageable down and distance for Gus Malzahn. Adams with the tackle.
Ryan Davis kind of the spark plug for this offense. They love to get him the football out in space. Nice pickup on 2nd down. Another 3rd and manageable for this Auburn offense.
Stidham has made his last 6 in a row.
Wildcat coming up. Whitlow, counter power.
Got Whitlow taking the direct snap here. Trick play. Stidham going to throw it downfield. Wide open! Wide open! And he missed him. He overshot Slayton. Oh, wow.
Well, they dial up a perfect play, and they don't execute. I mean, they had Mississippi State fooled. Nobody, and I mean nobody, stays with Darius Slayton. And the ball thrown way over the head of Slayton. Jarrett Stidham, he had to get rid of the football quick. He was under duress. But, man, you got to find a way to complete that pass. Not going to get many opportunities against this Mississippi State defense like that.
Sipas with the punt. Dixon back there at the 6-yard line. And an opportunity fallen by the wayside for Stidham and for Slayton. 49-yard punt, nothing on the return. If there was ever one that you would want back, this was it.
Back here in Starkville, Mississippi State up 6-3, and at kickoff, the decibel meter I had on my phone read at 100 decibels. That creates hearing damage if you're exposed for too long. And what do we want here, guys? Taco Bell is honoring student sections like these, and Mississippi State is on their watch list. Make sure to go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to find out more.
I don't know if Taco Bell's going to find louder fans, Molly, than those cowbell-armed fans. Pass complete to Green, and Green gets a first down out by the 20-yard line.
Farad Green playing H-back. Is a split zone action. He's just going to sneak out into the flats. Easy dump down for Nick Fitzgerald in the first down.
Empty formation on first down after the 13-yard gain. Fitzgerald keeps it. And out to the 25-yard line. Newkirk making the tackle on the 6-yard gain.
We talked about Derek Brown. Watch him here on the inside. This is excellent push on the inside. Jenkins as well as Calhoun working on Derek Brown as Nick Fitzgerald follows his blocks. It's a nice pickup.
2nd and 4. I don't know what the scorecard reads, but are they pitching a shutout on Derek Brown right now if you were scoring this?
So far, yeah.
Okay.
Good job by the interior of this Mississippi State offensive line.
2nd down and 4. Fitzgerald keeps it. Going to set up a 3rd down and about 1 to go. Davidson making the tackle on the 3-yard gain. So they right at those two guys in the middle again, Brown and Russell.
This time, Brown just wants to beat up on the center, Jenkins. And shed that block, get off and try to make a play. I will say, though, Elton Jenkins, one of the best centers in all of college football. Continue to make a name for himself here on Derek Brown early in this game.
His hands full so far, 3rd down and 1. Fitzgerald is going to take out his do-it-yourself kit and get the 1st down. When Nick Fitzgerald was on a flight back home, he turned on his phone and got a text from his new head coach. But first, this.
Derek Brown inside, tries to swim the center. Calhoun right there to help on the double team, and Nick Fitzgerald runs right behind his guard.
6-yard pickup. Under 6.5 to go here in the first half. Fitzgerald excited about running Moorhead's offense for a couple of reasons. Hands it off here to Hill, nowhere to go. That's going to be a loss of about 1 on the play. Davis making the tackle. I started to talk about Fitzgerald. Turned on his phone, had gotten a text from his new head coach, Moorhead, who said, make sure you get your ring size because we're going to win an SEC championship and we're going to have a big season. And he also told Fitzgerald, clear a spot on that mantelpiece of yours at home for a potential Heisman Trophy. And Fitzgerald said, I love the fact that Coach was so hyped, and I liked his swag when he talked so brazenly like that.
You got to have confidence, right?
Yep.
Coach had confidence. I don't think the national championship or the Heisman's actually going to happen, but you got to love the confidence and the buy-in from the quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald.
Sometimes you got to speak it into existence. Incomplete. Guidry dropped it. No other way to say it.
And that's been one of the things with this Mississippi State passing attack so far this season. It's been a calamity of errors, right? We've seen drop passes. There's Stephen Guidry on a shallow crosser. He's got to make that catch when he hits it in his hands. There's been drops. There's been lack of protecting Nick Fitzgerald, as well as Nick Fitzgerald's had some accuracy issues. So pretty much every facet of this passing attack has had its flaws so far early in this season.
Yeah, there's Mitchell. He had a drop on a post last week that would have made the score 13-3 against Florida at the time. This time it's Austin Williams making the catch, no gain on the play. And it's 4th down coming up for the Bulldogs in this low-scoring affair.
3rd and long, they play conservative. They've already seen 1 interception for Nick Fitzgerald, and he almost threw a 2nd. So he just threw a screen outside. Excellent pursuit to the football by that Auburn defense.
As Ryan Davis for Auburn back standing on his own 23-yard line. Auburn does have 1 punt return for a touchdown this year. That was returned by Christian Tutt. Tucker Day with the punt. They hit an Auburn player. It's live. Late whistle, and Mississippi State may have recovered it. It's Bulldog football. Baldwin, the long snapper, makes the recovery. So an error in special teams for the Tigers is costly here.
Ryan Davis gets knocked out of the way by his own man, and he tries to get on the football. Collision, he's looking for it. It's right there underneath him. How about Baldwin, the deep snapper, hustling down the field. Johnny on the spot. Huge, huge turnover for Mississippi State. First of the season, and boy, did it come in the nick of time.
No doubt.
Man.
Yeah, you said it, though. Great hustle by Baldwin. And I thought for a second, Dusty, watching the replay, that there's their turnover. Yeah, that's
Is that the dog collar?
Yeah.
Turnover collar?
Got to have something these days. At one point, I thought maybe Davis was down, but apparently not. He had lost it first.
Doesn't know where it is.
Wow. It was right there in front of him. And Auburn players trying to wave it off, saying no, he was down, but clearly the ball was out first.
Well, initially, just during the return process, if you're an Auburn player on punt return, you got to clear out of the way of the return man. It's a mistake. Auburn's not happy about this.
Second charge timeout of the half, Auburn.
They want to see a review.
Yeah. Auburn calls timeout. We'll take one too. Wondering where your dogs are at, folks? Hey, right there. You already know. One more look at that fumbled punt by Davis. Hit him right there in the shoulder pad. Now it's live. He recovered it. And I think Auburn's contention was that he was down before he fumbled it.
That ball's out before he ever hits the ground. That's the right play by the official. And again, we got to give it up to Baldwin. The effort down the field. Ball's on the ground. Eyes are on it. And he opts on top.
Bulldogs are working with a short field. 1st and 10, 4:23 to go in this low-scoring first half. Hill in motion. Fitzgerald keeps it. Broke a couple of tackles. Fitzgerald with a first down at the 21-yard line. A 13-yard gain and a missed tackle by Darrell Williams on the play.
Well, I mentioned earlier, you better wrap up Nick Fitzgerald. Arm tackles aren't going to do it. You got to give him a shoulder and you got to give a hard wrap as he runs through the arm tackle without a shoe.
He left Williams with one of his Adidas. Kylan Hill in the backfield. Hill on the handoff, right up the middle. Tackled by Nick Coe, a 3-yard pickup.
Nick Fitzgerald, by far having his most success the last couple of games running the football. Looks like he's just got a little bit more of a burst, and he's making more concise decisions. Been very productive in this half.
Run it 10 times for 76 yards. He's the second leading rusher on the team coming into the game tonight. Hill on the handoff, trying to get to the edge. Great second effort, and got up near the first down marker. His hat came off at about the 11-yard line. Great effort, though.
You saw the emotion from Kylan Hill. As he gets to the perimeter, lowers his shoulder on the big Jamel Dean. Helmet gets knocked off out of bounds. Excellent extra effort by Kylan Hill.
3rd and 1. Henry first down and 10. Mark it at the 11-yard line.
The ruling on the field is that the runner made the line to gain. The previous play is under review.
You want to go back to the microchip, right? Just go ahead and tell me.
Let's make this a little bit more exact. I thought it was going to be 3rd and short, which is what I said initially, but they gave him enough for the first down.
Question is, where's the football? Football did not appear to make it to the line to gain. I still like the extra effort, keeping those legs moving. outran Deshaun Davis to the perimeter and runs through the arm tackle of Jamel Dean.
What about Coach Moorhead? A big win. Should they be able to get one here tonight to snap a 2-game losing streak for Mississippi State? He has not won an SEC conference game yet. Former offensive coordinator at Penn State, National Offensive Coordinator of the Year the last 2 seasons. But a different ball game here in the SEC West.
You could see that starting to wear on him a little bit as we met with him yesterday.
One more look at this play. Hill. See, that's what I mean. In that, there's 4 or 5 bodies in one area. How can you tell with great, quote-unquote, accuracy where to put the ball? I mean, you got one of those find your iPhone things on your phone. You could be on the other side of the world, Dusty.
You want robots just to run the world or what? Jonesy,
hey,
come on.
If they work, bro. They got all kinds of apps that you can put on phones and technology available. Seems just, with all that's on the line these days, a few inches here or there, it's a bowl game or not. It's $1 million bowl game or not. It's a $5 million bowl game or not.
We need to put a GPS on your work bag, man. That way you don't lose it again.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I hear what you're saying, though, but I mean, how does that work, though? How does that GPS work? How do you know when forward progress is stopped? There's so many variables that come into play there. It sounds good to say, but...
After review, the runner was short of the line to gain. The ball will be placed at the 11.5-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 1/2 yard.
That's what reviews are for.
I guess.
I mean, the review shows you that the ball wasn't quite to the line to gain.
Yeah. You know what?
If you can map up that technology, I'll be behind you 100%. I
tell you what,
easier said than done.
I'll try out the GPSs on your boards because you do have a little bit of a tendency to drop those somewhere. Wow. You lose those a little bit.
I bet you're one of those guys in Major League Baseball. You want some computer to tell you balls and strikes. Right?
Hey, it works. It works. As long as it's accurate. So after all that, they're going to mark them short, 3rd and short. Fitzgerald's going to keep it. Gets the first down, no question. 1st and goal, Bulldogs. You don't need technology to tell you that's enough for the first down. Picked up 7.
Nick Fitzgerald has put his stamp on this first half, as has the Mississippi State offensive line. Getting physical, going to pull the guard around. Easy pickup on 3rd and short.
And Derek Brown on 1st and goal on the sidelines for the Auburn Tigers. The top defensive lineman. Projected 1st-round NFL pick. Fitzgerald changes his mind and throws it. What a great decision. Williams made a catch at the last second and made it to the 1 before Williams made a tackle.
They put Darrell Williams in a tough spot, right? Darrell Williams had to make a choice. Am I going to play the quarterback? Am I going to play Eris Williams out in the flat? Run pass option. A nice decision by Nick Fitzgerald as he drops 3/4.
Wow.
And gets it to his running back.
Came a little sidearm, didn't he? 1.5 to go in the first half. 2nd and goal. Fitzgerald keeping it short of the end zone. Russell making the tackle here at Davis Wade Stadium, Starkville, Mississippi. The number 8 team in the country, the Auburn Tigers, trailing 6-3 under the lights here in Starkville, Mississippi. I'm Mark Jones alongside Dusty Dvorak, Molly McGrath down to the field. And this is the first conference road opener for the Auburn Tigers and Gus Malzahn's offense, which continues to look for its rhythm. Right now, his defense on the field. 3rd and goal, Mississippi State. Fitzgerald keeps it. He got in. Touchdown. Tackle from behind by Davidson. And the momentum took him forward.
Well, there was no doubt where this was going. Nick Fitzgerald, it was all about him as Nick Coe gets up the field. And it almost as if Davidson from the backside tackles him into the end zone. They're going to take a look at it. I thought he was in.
It appeared from where we are that he got in.
Marlon Davidson, as he kind of hits him from the back, it's almost like his momentum, his body weight carries him into the end zone. Only question is, where did his arm go down? Is his arm down right there? Did that elbow hit the ground?
His elbow may have hit
Because
short
if
of
his
the goal
elbow
line.
hits short, he's down. Forearm.
Yeah.
See, I think he's going to be down. He's going to be short. I think Marlon Davidson.
Where's the ball, though?
I think Davidson's got a real gripe.
I mean, wow. Dusty, you played the position on the defensive line. What do you do when it's that close to the end zone making a tackle? Do you fear of carrying the guy into the end zone like almost happened there?
I mean,
or do you just make the play?
I think you're just trying to get the quarterback down. I mean, obviously you don't want to carry him into the end zone. I think you're just trying to get the ball carried to the ground. One more look. I think this is going to be, I think it should be overturned.
Yeah.
I think it should be 4th and goal. Forearm, elbow down, ball is not crossed.
Yeah. That's a great replay.
Outstanding job by our camera crew.
Yeah. Director Steve Turnberger and Kim Belton.
And Auburn knew it, right? Auburn jumped right up and they said, no, he did not get in. So, to answer your question, as a defensive lineman, that's exactly the way I want to make that play.
Okay. Oh, boy. Hindsight's great, isn't it?
Right.
What do you do here on 4th down? Do you go for it or not if you're Mississippi State?
After review, the runner's elbow was down with the ball at the 1/2 yard line. It'll be 4th down.
Do you take the points with the field goal, or do you go for it? You are just literally inches away.
I'm going for it.
Okay.
At home.
Mississippi State will take their second charge timeout of the half to avoid a 10-second runoff. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Mississippi State calling a timeout. We'll take them. They determine Nick Fitzgerald playing perhaps his best game of the season so far.
Well, they came in wanting to find their physicality in the run game. We've seen that so far in this first half.
A lot of different options when you look at play calls down in the red zone here, less than a yard away. Who gets it here? Is it Fitzgerald?
I think it's Nick Fitzgerald once again. He's 6'5", he's 230 pounds. He's been running more physical tonight than he has the last couple of weeks. The interior of that offensive line has been blocking very well. I'd be surprised if they take the ball out of his hands.
What do you make of the play calling so far? Moorhead talked about fewer plays, simplifying things a little bit, but more eye candy and formation.
Well, we've seen it, right? We've seen the running back line up in the slot a lot, motion back into the backfield. So we've seen them put subtle nuances just to slow down that Auburn defense just enough and allow their offensive linemen the ability to get off the football.
Pretty impressive drive so far by Mississippi State, and the catalyst has been Nick Fitzgerald at quarterback.
Tough, physical, doing it with one shoe at times here tonight. We've also seen Kylan Hill get on the perimeter, utilize his speed. This is just a big quarterback, flat out getting it done, breaking tackles.
Middle Tennessee State and Mississippi State were the only two schools to offer Nick Fitzgerald a scholarship. Former backup to Dak Prescott, making a name for himself in the last couple of seasons. 4th and goal, inches to go when we come back. 4th and goal, 4th and inches for Mississippi State with 4 seconds to go in the first half. They're going for it.
Buckle your chin strap, brother.
Well, let's see what Derek Brown and Russell have up front for Auburn defensively, and they're going to call a timeout.
Third and final charge timeout of the half, Auburn. This will be a full timeout.
Hey, folks, we love what ESPN has done here. ESPN Basketball, a love story, our unprecedented 20-hour film that consists of more than 60 interconnected short stories will be seen over the next 4 Tuesdays. The first episode airs at 7 Eastern, followed by the second at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. You can always watch these on the ESPN app from anywhere. And Jackie McMullen, a big part of that production. Some great anecdotes. Basketball, a love story.
Saw some of the highlights of that. LeBron, Magic. They got you on there, Jonesy?
Some of my calls, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Very nice. You've already been back on the circuit.
Yes.
Had a chance to see LeBron, the new look Lakers already.
About that time.
Yeah.
And tell you what, could be a little bit of a love story starting for the Bulldogs under the new head coach, Joe Moorhead. If they get a score here, it would really get them moving. They haven't scored a touchdown in a long time.
Second quarter against Kentucky. It's been too long.
Against the number 8 team in the nation. Empty formation. Hill in motion. Fitzgerald keeps it. He got in. No signal. Touchdown. Now they give it to him. Boy, Nick Fitzgerald put his hat down, Dusty. You mentioned it. That's big boy football.
Well, you knew it had to go to him, right? I mean, Nick Fitzgerald, 6'5", 235 pounds, right at the goal line. Big hit by Jeremiah Denson. I'm sure they're going to take another look at this. And, you know, we talked with Nick Fitzgerald, and he got beat up the last couple of weeks, right? I mean, he's been sacked 9 times. He's been beat up. The offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, told us he stood up on Sunday in front of that entire room.
That looks a little inconclusive. Well, depending on where he fell, he got in.
I think he's in.
Yeah, Denson and Thomas got there a little bit late.
But Getsy told us he stood up in front of the team, and he said, Nick Fitzgerald is a tough son of a gun. He kept getting hit, getting knocked down, bouncing right up. And Luke Getsy let them know how much the coaching staff believe in him, and that really permeated with Nick Fitzgerald and meant a lot to him. And you can tell that this team respects and understands the toughness that he plays with.
Thomas and Denson, the safeties.
It's really close. Is there a definitive look? Let's see.
This has got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. Wow.
I mean, it looks as if, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing him get stoned right at the goal line, go down, and as he rolls over, that's when it looks kind of like the ball crosses the goal line. Now, is there a definitive, conclusive angle that they see? Remember, points are already on the board.
Yeah. The officials took their time in signaling touchdown.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Auburn has a little bit of an argument there.
To me, that's one of those that whatever's called on the field, they're going to stay with it because there wasn't a conclusive look to give them a definitive resolution.
Right.
So the fact that it was called a touchdown on the field, I think the play stands. You didn't see that the call was confirmed. It just stood.
The extra point to come. That was Fitzgerald, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season and the 39th of his career. Every inch, every foot, every yard hard-earned in this game. And that's the end of the first half of play with the Bulldogs leading 13-3. They've won 2 of the last 3 against the Auburn Tigers here at Davis Wade Stadium with the cowbells echoing through the night. Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the SEC on ESPN from Starkville, Mississippi. A glow at night. Look at the downtown area. 13-3, the home team leading by 10. A moment ago, Molly caught up with Coach Gus Malzahn of the Tigers.
Coach, what did you think about that touchdown on 4th and inches?
Yeah, they called it a touchdown. You know, we got to figure out a way to get it going offense. Our defense is playing pretty good. You know, we turned the football over there and they had an inadvertent whistle. That was a tough one, but we'll come out in the second half ready to go.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Mark Jones alongside Dusty Dvorak. Molly, you saw her a minute ago. Interesting first half. A low-scoring first half, 13-3.
No surprise.
Yeah, we kind of called it with all the great defensive talent, especially on the line of scrimmage. But, Dusty, what do you make of the rush game for Mississippi State so far and the difference it's made?
Well, I thought they've been physical, right? I think they've done a nice job with this very, very talented Auburn defensive front seven, and it's been Nick Fitzgerald, right? He has not been productive throwing or running the football the last couple of weeks. He's getting back to what he's great at. Running the football, running through arm tackles, tough, physical mindset is what Mississippi State offensively has brought into this ballgame.
That was the touchdown that he scored at the end of the first half by mere inches. Miscues one of the prevailing storylines for the Auburn Tigers, and this was a big one. Davis on the fumbled punt. That wasn't the most costly one. That killed a drive.
That's 3rd and short, and they missed a field goal. I mean, you look, guaranteed points, and right after that, bad snap leads to a 4th and long, missed a field goal, and then the fumbled punt that we saw from Ryan Davis led to a touchdown there at the end of the half for Mississippi State.
Auburn not doing a great job on 3rd down conversions. The muff punt set up the Mississippi State touchdown, and Nick Fitzgerald really the story of the game, 84 rushing yards, as he continues to close in on eclipsing Tim Tebow's conference record as the most prolific runner in conference history at quarterback. They're ready to go. Bulldogs will have the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
Mark, Mississippi State head coach Joe Moorhead called that touchdown on 4th and inches a huge statement, telling me we're playing the number 8 team in the country against one of the best D lines in college football. Points are at a premium. We capitalized. He said moving the ball in the run game, generating confidence for his team. He also likes how decisive Nick Fitzgerald has been in the run game.
Yeah, great work, Molly, and interesting insights from Coach Moorhead. Talked to us about the importance of this game, said it's huge. First Western Conference game, even though we lost 2 to teams in the East Division, we're still going to come back and have a winning season here. And it starts tonight. Fitzgerald pulls it out, completes the pass to the tight end. Justin Johnson gets about 7 on the play.
Same play we saw earlier, a little split zone action. They bring the H-back out in the flats. Easy play, move in the pocket for Nick Fitzgerald. Easy pass, get his confidence going here to start the second half.
Hill gets it into the boundary. Some determined running, some spirited running. Picks up a first down at the 38, picked up 7.
They've really utilized his speed on the perimeter today. Much more perimeter runs than what we typically see from Mississippi State. You see Jamel Dean struggling to get up, big physical quarterback for Auburn. Looks a little shaken up there, Jonesy.
Yeah, he's a little wobbly and walking slowly over to the Auburn trainers. But Derek Brown had not made a tackle as we began the 3rd quarter of play. And what does that say about him? What does it say about Auburn's defense in the big picture so far?
Well, I think
if anything.
I think we had to give some credit to Mississippi State's offensive line, right? I mean, Elton Jenkins, one of the best centers in college football, and they've done a really nice job on him inside. And as I mentioned, a lot of perimeter runs. And if you've seen Nick Fitzgerald, a lot of times he's going to cut right off of Derek Brown. If he's going to choose one side of the gap, Nick Fitzgerald's just going to cut right off of him.
First down and 10. Hill sets in the backfield, takes the handoff, and a nice hole. Great run out to the 45-yard line. Picked up another 6, almost 7 yards. Dinson made the tackle.
Nice job by Mississippi State. They pull Story out in front, gets on Darrell Williams. Nice hole off the right side.
Out to the 45. Fitzgerald going to keep it. Searching for a hole, couldn't find one, and there's Brown with his first tackle of the night. With 12:56 to go in the third quarter. The guy that's affectionately nicknamed Baby Barack by his Auburn teammates because of his affinity to be presidential, and has a very regal, intelligent presence, represents Auburn with the SEC and around campus at different functions. Pretty good football player too.
Fantastic football player. Hasn't been lighting it up so far tonight, but I can assure you it's not going to take long come next April for his name to be called.
Hill in motion, but they fake it. Fitzgerald kept it. A great decision and got the first down into Auburn territory. 6 yards on the game.
Well, how about Deion Calhoun? Watch Deion Calhoun come down on Derek Brown. This is one-on-one. Just getting a big block, gets the help from the double team, and they run right behind the double team. As you see Stuart Reese work up to the second level. Nice job working the combo block. Big Derek Brown first. You get up to the second level. Nice pickup for the first down.
This offensive line from Mississippi State might have been hearing all that hype about Auburn's defensive front. Playing extremely motivated football right now. They run it again. Hill around the left side, stays on his feet. Picked up about 9 on the play. You hear it all the time. This is a line of scrimmage league, and a lot of talent up front on both sides, but Mississippi State with the edge right now, Dusty.
I was going to say, this is one of those turning into a roll up your sleeves, ground and pound type of game for Joe Moorhead and this Mississippi State offense.
2nd down and 1 on the 9-yard gain. Mitchell split wide to the bottom of your screen, number 87. Fitzgerald kept it. Boy, there was a lot of looking around there, Dusty, and I'm not sure if that was indecision or not. Russell making the tackle. No gain on the play. 3rd down coming up.
We've talked so much about Derek Brown. Dontavius Russell making his 43rd start at defensive tackle in the SEC. Played a lot of football. You want to talk about a defensive lineman that can eat up double teams and get off of blocks. Dontavius Russell.
3rd and 1. Russell started as a redshirt freshman several years ago. Fitzgerald pulled it out, stays on his feet, and is brought down right at field goal range for Mississippi State on the 5-yard gain, and a first down, Bulldogs.
It's a quality read. We're going to take a look here. Marlon Davidson's going to come off the edge. See the mesh point? He goes with the running back. Outstanding job by Nick Fitzgerald to make the proper read and pick up enough to move the chains.
That's what you get with a 5th-year senior.
That's right. And you heard Joe Moorhead say decisive decisions in the run game. Another example there.
They are sticking to their game plan. Hill got a hit of steam and got another first down at the 22-yard line. Great block out in front by Justin Johnson. 15-yard pickup, and they move the sticks again. Meanwhile, Dean still on the bench, starting cornerback for the Tigers.
Offensive line blocking with physicality. The H-backs. Justin Johnson there getting out in front. Everybody upping their level of physicality in this game for Mississippi State.
That's Keith Mixon going to the sidelines, looking to be in a little bit of pain. Play clock down to 3. And Nick Fitzgerald steps back and calls a timeout with 8:59 to go in the 3rd quarter. Mississippi State with an impressive looking drive here begin the second half. Back after this. Here's a look at the chances to make the college football playoff by conference. The number that really jumps off the page at me, Dusty, 39% that they could get 2 teams in, or multiple, maybe 3. Yeah, that was coming into today, and of course, Big 12 at 40%, but with that OU Texas implication,
it's going to lower that number drastically.
Harris Williams in the backfield, 1st and 10 from Mississippi State. 10th play of this drive. Fitzgerald hits his tight end, Johnson. Justin Johnson chopped down nicely at the 20-yard line, picked up 3. Meanwhile, Mixon was shaken up a moment ago, and he is now being taken into the locker room. Keith Mixon, a 5'8" junior out of Birmingham. Came into the game as a receiver that they look for. It caught over 100 yards worth of passes. 2nd down and 7. Fitzgerald steps back and takes off. Man, he really moves the pile, Dusty. He is not a small guy. 6'5", 230. And that's now his 17th 100-yard rushing game of his career.
Talk about ball control. When you've got a big physical running quarterback like that, you can possess the football, you can grind the clock away. Mississippi State on the ground tonight has completely controlled this football game.
Ties the school record by Anthony Dixon. 3rd and 2. Into the game, holding 12 school records. And they're going to be faced with a 4th and about 2 to go. And after a very impressive drive, you got to think they kicked the field goal here, right, Dusty?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an impressive opening drive here. Chew up a lot of clock, move the football, continue to run with a lot of success. You got to take your points this moment in time. Derek Brown there on the stop, already making a couple of plays here to start this second half.
Chrisman in for the field goal. Made 2 tonight from 25 and 47. This one coming from 32. And Jace Chrisman bangs it through. The Bulldogs leading 16-3. An impressive opening drive, using up a lot of clock to start the second half. Trying to upset the number 8 team in the nation when we come back to Starkville.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem.
Ooh. Oh man, Mississippi Entomological Museum is on campus and boasts one of the 3rd largest collections of insects in the southeastern United States. Over 1 million specimens, Dusty. If I find one of those in my hotel room, I'm running on the exterminator, man.
I think there might have been one in Molly's rental car.
in the back seat.
Do you see the size of some of those spiders?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. You will, this part of the country, you'll find some stuff. You know? Snakes and spiders and, man, those ones have been being fed really well.
Look at this guy.
Jeez. Tell you what, Auburn, a little bit of work here to do.
It's an important drive. They did absolutely nothing in the first half, 79 total yards. I think they need to open up Jared Stidham and let him throw the football down the field a little bit.
Little play fake. Looks down the sidelines. Caught! And out of bounds at the 30-yard line, Ryan Davis. As you just noted, Dusty, they open up the offense a little bit and take a shot complete.
And this is the guy they trust the most in this offense. Ryan Davis, typically they get him in the short passing game, intermediate throws, but they run him on a go ball down the sidelines. Perfectly placed pass by Jared Stidham.
42 yards. And this is Booby Whitlow with a nice run, picked up 13. Down to the 20-yard line. And in 2 plays, Auburn knocking at the door.
Going fast.
Whitlow again, this time with nowhere to go. Those guys up front, Jeffrey Simmons, one of the excellent leaders of that defensive unit. A real boss in the weight room for the Bulldogs, making the initial stop.
Strong at the point of attack. Sheds blocks, gets off, disruptive. Nice job inside, shutting down the inside zone from Whitlow.
2nd and 10. Whitlow into the end zone and overthrows his intended receiver, Darius Slayton. So 3rd and 10 coming up for Auburn. Time for the Cowbells.
Time for Bob Shoop to get creative. He said in these situations they bring in a rush package. Chauncey Rivers going to come in the game. Willie Gay's going to come into the game. And he told us in these situations, look for them to dial it up and bring heat on Jarrett Stidham.
Here comes the pressure. He barely got it off in time. Almost intercepted. Intended for Slayton. Man. I mean, everybody was coming on that one, Dusty.
Well, he told us he let some of the players draw some of these blitzes. They're just going to bring guys, and they're going to get home. Right up the middle is where the real pressure is going to come from. And the call wasn't too bad, right? They called the wide receiver screen, but it's an outstanding play by Cameron Dantzler to be aggressive, to attack, and to make a play on the football.
Carlson now going to attempt this one from 38 yards out. 1 for 2 today, made one from 47. And silences the crowd here at Davis Wade Stadium with his 2nd field goal of the night. A little bit of a win for that defense of the Bulldogs. As they inch a little bit closer. A tight game here. We're not bugging out, but that might make you want to.
Here in Starkville, and a very good showing so far for Mississippi State's offensive line. They're telling themselves, we're winning that battle at the line. Keep pounding them. It looks like number 5, which is Derek Brown, is slowing down out there. We need to take advantage. Mark, Dusty?
What do you make of that, Dusty?
I mean, I think that's exactly the mindset as an offensive line you want to have. Continue to impose our will, wear them down, make them quit.
Nick Fitzgerald to give the ball 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Fitzgerald still adjusting, although tonight doing a much better job seemingly of adjusting to that nuanced offense of Joe Moorhead. Still haven't seen them take the deep shots that is one of the signatures of this offense, though, right?
That's exactly right. An RPO-based run game, right? They're going to spread you out. They want to be able to have a physical rushing attack, but part of this offense, a big part of this offense, taking shots down the field, something we haven't seen much of here this evening.
Been doing it with his legs, 102 yards. A little over 40 yards away from eclipsing Tim Tebow's quarterback conference record for rushing. Great move by Hill. Went airborne a couple of times as we check in the studio. All right, and little ACC action there, along with Notre Dame. Miami with a big comeback win against Florida State today in ACC action. Second down and 6. Fitzgerald pulls it out and runs with it. Got about 2. It'll be a 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Bulldogs. Hey, tomorrow on Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. A lot of letters, folks. Odell Beckham Jr. sounding off in the Giants 1-3 start and why he's not getting the ball. Plus, A-Rod and Patrick Mahomes discussed how A-Rod's influence helped a young Mahomes reach the big league. On 3rd and 4, incomplete, intended for Jesse Jackson. And Auburn's defense comes up with a nice sequence there, forcing the punt.
Yeah, pass thrown behind his intended target, Jesse Jackson, who's put into the starting lineup, their senior veteran receiver. Good tight coverage down the field, and a poor throw off target for Nick Fitzgerald. Not happy about that sequence.
Auburn down by 2 scores. Ryan Davis, number 23 right there, back for the punt at his own 30. Tucker Day with a nice high spiral. And a fair catch called at the 30-yard line, a 39-yard punt. Jesse Jackson, unlike his older namesake, couldn't keep hope alive there. The drive died.
The College Football Playoff lives on ESPN.
Moment ago, this is what leadership and equity in the team looks like. Nick Fitzgerald telling his teammates, that's on me.
Owning the responsibility. That's what leaders do. That's what you should do in that. Nick Fitzgerald didn't deliver a good pass. So was it a pass that Jesse Jackson could have potentially caught? Yeah.
Very.
But you know what? Nick Fitzgerald said, that's on me. I got to throw a better pass than that. I respect that. And that's what a leader of your offense should do.
Taking a hit for his team. Fumble on the hit. Whitlow recovered it for Auburn. He was right there. Montez Sweat laying a smackdown on Auburn.
And Jarrett Stidham's filling that one. Man, big hit delivered by Montez Sweat. Excellent job off the edge. Just going to win with a speed rush. Ooh, big hit on the quarterback as he delivers the football. You could tell when he went down, he's in a lot of pain. Just a simple speed rush beating the offensive tackle off the edge.
Loss of 7 on the sack. And Whitlow dropped it. 3rd and long coming up, back to the studio. All right, Chris, back here. Time for the cowbell chorus.
Center gets over the ball. They got to shut down the cowbells.
Etiquette.
3rd and super long. This is where you see them drop back into coverage and might just rush forward. Oh.
Little pressure coming. Sweat. They set up the screen nicely with a tight end, Schenker, and he picked up the first down. What a call, Dusty.
It's a great call, and that's why I kind of thought Bob Shoop would sit back and play coverage, expecting screen, something to throw you off. If you got a team dialing it up, blitzing, coming with their hair on fire, what do? You screen, you draw. Outstanding call and better execution for the Auburn offense.
26 yards on the pickup by Schenker. Here's Davis tiptoeing up the sidelines. Let's see where they spot this. About a 7-yard gain for Ryan Davis. Second down coming up. 8-yard gain. We haven't seen much of Anthony Schwartz for Auburn, who had a touchdown last week. Stidham off the play fake. Completes the pass at the 44-yard line to Miller. And he's hit and brought down immediately. 3rd down coming up. Willie Gay making the tackle.
Solid open field tackle by Willie Gay. Nothing down the field for Jarrett Stidham. He's got to go to his check down. 3rd and a short situation. I'd be surprised if we don't see this go to Whitlow. Could be a screen up top too.
Let's see if Simmons or Sweat factor in on this play defensively for Mississippi State. Hand it off to Whitlow. Great burst, still on his feet. Booby spinning. The ball comes loose. Bulldogs recover. And it looks like a touchback. Or is it a touchdown?
We're going to take another look at this. My question is, did he cross the plane before the ball came out? Obviously, they're saying no. Ball came out first.
Whitlock. I thought he was in the end zone from that angle.
He grabs the ball. He tries to stretch it over the goal line.
The ruling on the field is that the runner fumbled the ball prior to crossing the goal line. The defense recovered the ball in the end zone, resulting in a touchback.
I think it's going to be a touchdown.
I think that's going to be a touchdown.
I mean, to me, it looks like he's possessing the football as he's taking it forward.
He was shifting the ball, Dusty,
Previous play
put it out.
is under further review.
Tough to tell where he is relative to the goal line there.
When he goes to extend the football and he's kind of shifting hands,
Right.
does he have full possession of the football? I think that's the question at hand. So as he goes to extend this football,
Yeah, that's where it came loose. But is he already over the goal line at that point?
right?
Well, the replay officials taking a good look at this one for obvious reasons.
Second time tonight we've had plays right at the goal line. I mean, when we slow it down right there, it looks like he crosses, but I guess my question is, as he goes to his right, to his left, is that ball already coming out? I think that's what's going to be in question here. After looking at it several times, it feels like it's going to be similar to the play when the half concluded.
Right.
That they're going to stick with the call in the field because it is that close.
And the call in the field is a fumble recovery.
Correct.
By Mississippi State for a touchback.
Yep. You hate that for Whitlow, right?
Oh, boy.
Sprint draw on a 3rd and short. You see the burst that he has, and he's trying to make a play, trying to ignite this offense and stretch it into the end zone. But as he does so, he loses possession.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown, touchback, Mississippi State.
Wow. So Gus Malzahn's team comes that close to making it a field goal game, but instead, everybody checking the replay on their ESPN app.
When we saw it live, I thought that he crossed the goal line and it was going to wind up being a touchdown, but as we slowed it down, excellent job by our camera crew once again getting a great look at that.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Disconsolate and dejected Ruby Whitlow.
It's a game of inches, right?
Exactly.
I mean, think about those two game-changing plays to close out the half and right there at the goal line.
Under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Fitzgerald keeps it. Still on his feet, got a good block on the edge, and uses wonderful discretion stepping out of bounds as he gets closer to Tim Tebow's quarterback rushing record for SEC QBs.
His reads have been so spot on tonight. Defensive end wants to take the running back. He says, no problem. I'll tuck it up and get a nice pickup. See, he's closer and closer.
22 yards away from eclipsing Tim Tebow. I think I saw had his number put into the rafters there.
Nice win by them today against LSU.
Yeah. Gators winning at home. It's Kylan Hill tiptoeing through tacklers. Picks up 11 as we go back to the studio. Well, good to see Virginia Tech bounce back after losing to an FCS team
A couple of weeks ago, that was a crazy loss to Old Dominion.
Under a minute to go at midfield. There's Williams on the fake, and Fitzgerald keeps it. Got 4. Atkinson making the tackle. And now you get the feeling that the discrepancy of time of possession, control of the game, that's a picture we've seen a lot of tonight. Stidham on the sidelines. This Auburn offense hasn't had a lot of plays to run.
Over 2-1, Mississippi State possessed the football over Auburn. That offense for Auburn on the sidelines most of the night.
This is going to be the last play of the quarter.
And as we go into the fourth quarter, these first 3 quarters have been tough. They've been physical, and Mississippi State has owned the ground game.
At the end of the third quarter.
You got to imagine that's only going to continue, and as these plays and this time continue to accumulate, Auburn's going to wear down, get tired, really playing in the hands of Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Welcome everyone to Stark Vegas. What happens in Stark Vegas stays in Stark Vegas on a Saturday night in the SEC college football. And welcome back everyone under the lights. ESPN College Football Prime Time for the start of the fourth quarter. At Davis Wade Stadium, everyone turning on their phone lights and lighting up the night. The home team leading as we enter the final 15. Mark Jones, Dusty Dvorak, Molly McGrath down in the field. Mississippi 15 minutes away from upsetting the number 18 in the nation. Hill and Auburn's defense strung it out nicely, limiting the gain to a yard. Igbenogany.
Nice job on the perimeter by Igbenogany. You know, they've gotten so many of these perimeter runs, been able to get to the edge, and the cornerback there keeps contained, forces the running back out of bounds. Nice job to set up the 3rd and long. See if Kevin Steele dials up any pressure to try to come after Nick Fitzgerald.
Got 3 receivers out to his left. Rolls and delivers, complete. It's going to take a couple of moves. Thomas, it's going to be close. Not sure that he got there. Dedrick Thomas, it is 6th reception of the season, and they're going to mark it just a little bit short of that first down line that we have down there on the field. Do you even think about going for it here, Dusty, or what's the thought process for Moorhead?
Ooh, man, this is a tough spot right here. I think he's going to go for it, though. It's kind of been the MO of them so far tonight.
You got a big 235-pound quarterback.
I was going to say, I'd be surprised if this goes anywhere but Nick Fitzgerald. You could always think this could be a hard count. Try to draw him off sides.
The 1-for-1 on 4th downs tonight. Fitzgerald keeps it. He's not going to get there. There was a surge in the middle, led by Brown and Russell, and the Tigers with one of the definitive tipping points of the ball game. Deshaun Davis also there. So they'll take over on downs.
The interior of that Auburn front 7, outstanding on this play. Penetration, completely stoned them at the line of scrimmage. Take a look at these 2 guys right here. Okay, coming here, coming here. We're going to get penetration up front. See Deshaun Davis working through Calhoun, just continuing to fight. Stacking up Nick Fitzgerald, nowhere for him to run. Huge stop for Kevin Steele and his defense as they stone Nick Fitzgerald for the first time tonight.
Big defensive play. Derek Brown, projected 1st-round pick, living up to the hype. 1st down and 10 Tigers when we come back. Big play here, Deshaun Davis shaken up for Auburn, number 57 right there, Dusty.
Yeah, and his left leg gets caught up underneath him. You hope he's okay. Was unable to get off the field under his own weight, really favoring that left leg. And man, I got to tell you, you know how much I talked about this guy in our production meetings, watching him on tape, just really the leader of this Auburn defense, and an outstanding player. You hate to see that.
They take over on downs, the Tigers do. Stidham gets rid of it quickly. Davis on the edge. And brought down with a high tackle right there at the 45-yard line. A gain of 3. Who else but Jonathan Abram? A headhunter, a hard hitter out there.
Like this guy comes downhill with bad intentions right now. Actually almost overruns the play but he grabs him with the left arm and gets him to the turf.
Stidham with plenty of time. Into the boundary. Davis makes the reception for the first down. Let's go back to the studio. All right, Chris, and boy, when you talk about Jonathan Abram, there's a special kind of cadence that he works by, right? That the coaches like to talk about?
Yes. I mean, well, most people go ready, aim, fire. He's ready, fire, aim. He's a throwback. He's the type of guy you want on your football team, that's for sure, Jonesy.
2nd and 8. Stidham in the middle of the field. Almost intercepted by the guy you were just talking about, Abram. And that's one that he wants back.
Montez Sweat, he started to make his presence felt in this second half. Working on Calvin Ashley, coming off the edge right here. Just a speed rush. We've seen him several times now. Gonna work outside, then he comes back underneath when he gets to the level, puts a big hit on Jared Stidham as Jonathan Abram almost comes up with a huge interception.
Those two guys we talked about at the top of the show, Dusty.
Making some plays. This is that blitz zone for Mississippi State. At 3rd and 7 to 12 type of area. They like to bring pressure.
And a little motion on that left side of the offensive line. But first a timeout.
Second charge timeout of the half, Mississippi State.
Bulldogs called timeout. We'll take one with them and come right back. 16-6 when we return to Starkville.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
Back here at Davis Wade Stadium, part of the light show here in Stark Vegas. Great atmosphere. Part of football in the SEC. Cowbell's all a part of it. 3rd and long, Stidham to Davis. Little tunnel screen, a first down and a lot more. Davis literally dragged by his teammate, kept upright. Looked like it was Harrell that lifted him up for a few more yards. Let's see this replay, a gain of 22, Dusty.
Love this play call. Going to be a wide receiver screen. Watch all these guys get out here and set it up and are able to give Ryan Davis exactly what he needs and the tunnel screen for a big first down.
On the handoff, this is Schwartz, the speedster, on his first touch of the ball game on that jet sweep action they like to use. The freshman from Miami makes it 1st and goal on the 17-yard pickup.
He's got some speed, doesn't he?
10.07 in the 100 meters. Stidham keeps it wide open, dropped it. Slayton couldn't hang on and get that foot down.
He was so focused on getting his foot in bounds, I think he quit tracking the football.
Wow.
Well, very well executed play up until the drop. RPO, wide open in the back of the end zone. I actually think he had that with one hand. I thought Cameron Danzler came in and knocked it loose there at the last second. Nice play by Cameron Danzler.
Miller in the backfield on 2nd and goal. Stidham. No shot that time, incomplete for Canella. And it'll be 3rd and goal. Are we looking at 4-down territory at this point of the game?
Not yet. No. Field goal gets it to a one-score game. Absolutely not. You got to get your points here. Jonathan Abram, though, excellent job running with the wide receiver, Sal Cannella, in the back line of the end zone. That's exactly where Jared Stidham wanted to go. Jonathan Abram wasn't having it.
3rd and goal. Stidham Incomplete at the 1. Intended for Slayton, went right back to him. And the Bulldogs defense wins as the field goal unit comes in.
Cameron Danzler's playing a heck of a ball game tonight. Cornerback for Mississippi State. Long, athletic, very skilled corner. He's been an extra hat in the run fits and nice tight coverage throughout this evening for this Mississippi State defense.
Terrell Buckley, former Miami Dolphin, doing a great job with those DBs. In comes Carlson. This one coming from 24 yards out. And he knocks it through to make it a one-score game. A low-scoring game. Sometimes it helps when you get a little help from your friends, when they literally lift you up. Back after this.
Next stop, Auburn on the SEC Network.
Welcome back, everyone, to Davis Wade Stadium. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Number 8 Auburn trailing unranked Mississippi State in their road conference opener. Each team with 3 field goals apiece tonight. And a fair catch called on the kickoff as we take a look at tonight's player spotlight, brought to you by John Deere. And the prolific running of Nick Fitzgerald continues as he moves ever closer to passing Tim Tebow. It was pretty good.
I'd say he was an okay quarterback.
He wasn't bad. Matt Jones and Dak Prescott, the guy that Fitzgerald was the understudy for a couple of years.
You know, we asked Nick Fitzgerald about the rushing record, and he said, it's not about me. That would be a huge thing for our team. He said, but you know what? To heck with the record. I just want to win a football game, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for us to win.
Davis is back in the ball game. Deshaun Davis for Auburn's defense. Boy, Kylan Hill, I'm not sure if he's on the track team in hurdles, but that was pretty impressive, leaping over the would-be tackler. Sports Center tonight after Utah-Stanford on ESPN. Bucci and Stan, they'll have a complete post-fight breakdown of Khabib and McGregor at UFC 229, plus the best in college football and key moments from Game 2's Houston-Boston game. Sports Center after Utah-Stanford on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Expect Stanford to get back on track tonight. A tough one against Notre Dame last week.
Loss. Interesting to see what happens in the Pac-12 this year between Washington and Stanford. Out of the backfield, complete to Green. Not many completions for big chunks of yards tonight for this Mississippi State offense, but they've been efficient in their passing game. 10-yard gain on the play.
They've had a physical mindset from the very beginning of this game. And I think once they saw the success they had running the football, Joe Moorhead has not wanted to go away from it.
10 minutes to go in the game. Fitzgerald keeps it again. Great move. Oh, he hit him with the sauce. Fitzgerald on his feet. All the way down to the 20-yard line. And with that, he becomes the conference's all-time leader in rushing quarterback. 39 yards in all.
The safety, Daniel Thomas, had an opportunity to make a tackle on Nick Fitzgerald, and he puts a little shimmy shake on him. The quarterback got a little moves. Woo-woo.
Oh.
Make you miss in the open field.
Don't sleep on Nick Fitzgerald when it comes to running, folks.
That's crazy.
All the way down to the 21-yard line as he breaks the conference quarterback rush record previously held by Tim Tebow.
Impressive accomplishment by Nick Fitzgerald. Wow.
Hands it off to Hill. Hill running through a tackler and down to the 17. Atkinson makes the tackle. Remember, just 2 weeks ago, this team was ranked, what, number 13 or 14?
They were moving their way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this defense has lived up to it right the entire season. It's kind of been this offense, and we're seeing them here tonight against a very, very good front seven of Auburn impose their will and really have a lot of success on the ground.
Yeah, this offensive line making a statement here tonight. They're putting some money on tape, partner, against some NFL prospects, Derek Brown and Dontavius Russell. Fitzgerald into the end zone. Batted away at the last minute. Great recovery by Javaris Davis. Boy, he closed on that. Guidry, the intended receiver.
Outstanding protection by the offensive line. Nick Fitzgerald all day to throw the football. He's looking for Stephen Guidry. And a really nice play on the football by Javaris Davis. Outstanding job.
Davis noted to be one of the fastest players on that defense for Auburn. That's saying a lot. 3rd and 7. Hill in the backfield. Osiris Mitchell split wide to the top of your screen. Team's leading receiver. Play clock at 3. Fitzgerald on the keeper. And he's going to be stopped up well short of the first down. It'll be 4th and 3. The ball in the middle of the field. A field goal here makes it a 2-score deficit.
I like the play call and the decision by Nick Fitzgerald to keep it, get in the center of the field, centered up for his kicker. And the last thing you need, right, you've already done your work. You've worked your way down the field. All you could have not happen right there is a negative play or a turnover. Smart play call by Joe Moorhead.
Crispin back in again, making from 25, 47, 32. And this one blocked from 31 yards. No good. The Tigers snuffed the field goal. Thomas with the recovery, and he's looking for more. Thomas got a blocker in front of him. And down at the 43. So it's still a 1-score game. The Tiger defense comes up with a huge play on special teams.
I think we're going to get a personal foul over on the far side after the play. The kicker, I believe was the kicker Sheck Snyder, who I believe is a holder on field goals. He was getting into a shoving match over on the far side. I think that's going to draw a personal foul. I'm not sure if it's going to come on Auburn or if it's going to be on the Mississippi State punter.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 82 of the kicking team. The 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
Wow, this thing turned in a hurry. That's Farrad Green, the perpetrator. Take one more look at the block.
Marlon Davidson on the inside gets that right hand up, and he gets the block.
Great effort play, Dustin.
See the penetration, gets up, times it perfectly. What a game-changing play.
Huge.
And one Auburn had to have. Here's we get closer and closer to the end of this 4th quarter. Wow.
That was the first Bulldog penalty all night. Down by just a touchdown. Stidham. And he wisely throws it away. Everybody covered. It'll be 2nd and 10. Chris Rayford with the pressure for the Bulldogs. Hey, our Monday Night Football matchup of the week down to the Big Easy. Drew Brees only 200 yards shy of Peyton Manning for the most passing yards in a career. He leads the 3-1 Saints against Washington. 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific on ESPN. ESPN2 has it in Spanish, also available on the app.
Drew Brees been getting it done for a long time, partner. Man.
Yes, sir. Wide open out of the backfield. Mr. Reliable, Chandler Cox, the senior from Apopka, Florida, brought down by Leo Lewis.
Love watching this guy on tape, man. He's so physical, and as you watch him, he gets a chip on the way out, and he gets a nice reception.
Picked up 10, first down. They give it to Whitlow. Whitlow got about 3, stopped by Willie Gay.
Don't know how to slow down Montez Sweat. Send Chandler Cox at him to give him a nice little chicken wing on his way out on a route.
You're going to remember that one, right?
He's the tone setter for this Auburn offense. An old school type football player. 4th year starting at fullback. That's something to be said here in the SEC.
Had a touchdown last week against Southern Miss. Stidham goes through his reads into the end zone. And incomplete, intended for Canella. 3rd and long.
Well, Mark, Nick Fitzgerald getting fired up here on the sideline. He just went up and down to his entire offense telling them, we're not finished. We're not finished. This game is still ours.
Yeah, Molly, you wonder what he's anticipating having to do when he gets back on the field. Showing great leadership, Nick Fitzgerald there. Oh, and he dropped it. Whitlock dropped it, incomplete. And 4th and 7.
They had it set up. Running back screen, 2 linemen were out in front. That's really been what's really aided this Auburn offense in the second half. The screens, both running backs. We've seen a tight end. We've also seen the wide receivers. And he's running with the football before he has it. You got to look that ball in. And he had blockers out in front. Set up a crucial 4th down.
Yeah, they're going for it here. They've converted on their only other opportunity on 4th down tonight. Stidham giving time, backside heat, incomplete. And the Bulldogs take over on downs. Smitherman knocked it down.
Well, Bob Shoop said, I'm going to bring pressure all night long. He has not changed anything. We're going to get the corner coming. We're going to get a linebacker coming. They're bringing pressure from all over the place. It's who they are. It's what they do. Chris Rayford gets the hit on Stidham, and Smitherman gets the left hand in for a big-time pass breakup.
Nick Fitzgerald, as Molly reported a moment ago, had his offense ready to take over with 6:33 to go now. Can they put it away? Deshaun Davis back on the field for the Tigers after being shaken up a couple series ago. Allen Hill on the loose. 1st down out to the 48-yard line. Tackled by Davis downfield. A 17-yard gain. Auburn with all 3 timeouts remaining.
Excellent vision and patience in the hole by Kylan Hill. Watch the jump cut. The vision. Whoop! Over here, he sees it. He gets to it. Excellent speed in the open field. Kylan Hill running much more like the guy we saw in week 2 than the one we saw the last couple of weeks on the tape.
We had him against Kansas State. He went for over 200 yards that afternoon. Over 100 here tonight under the lights. And the meter's still running for Kylan Hill. Picked up about 7 or 8. Let's go back to the studio. Kentucky, one of the great stories in the SEC this year. But stumbling for the first time tonight. 2nd and 1 for Mississippi State.
Mississippi State in no hurry whatsoever. Gonna wear that clock down as much as they can.
Gerald gives it to Hill again, this time brought down behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose about 2 yards. Clock running with 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Mississippi State has won 2 of the last 3 games against Auburn here in Starkville, Mississippi. And Joe Moorhead looking for his first conference win here at home. Former head coach at Fordham, offensive coordinator at Penn State. After 2 consecutive losses, got encouraging texts and phone calls from his former buddy James Franklin at Penn State, J.D. Brookhart, a couple of colleagues of his. 3rd down and 3. To keep the drive alive, Fitzgerald doing it himself. Took the hit from Dinson and got 2 more after the contact.
That's the luxury of having a 6'5", 230-plus pound physical quarterback. He gets hit right at the line to gain, but watch him fall forward, the leg drive, leaning forward, fighting for those extra yards.
4 minutes to go. Gonna run the play clock down as much as they can here. And off to Harris Williams on the fringes of field goal range. Should they elect to kick one, or should they have to? A 6-yard pickup by last year's 1,000-yard rusher, Harris Williams.
Harris Williams, a different kind of runner than Kylan Hill, but they're great complements to each other. Harris Williams more of a one-cut downhill type of player. You saw the slight hesitation that he gets downhill right now, whereas Kylan Hill uses that speed and he's shifty and he runs in the open field.
2nd and 4. Mississippi State has run for well over 300 yards, 323. They get a free one here. Fitzgerald over Mitchell's head. But Deshaun Davis was a little bit early, Dusty.
Tried to time it up, but he was definitely offsides. Big mistake by the senior.
Offside. Defense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. Results in the first down.
Moves the chains, 3 new plays, and as you just referenced, gets them that much more closer into field goal range. And you got to start thinking, as this clock continues to tick away, when does Auburn start to use those timeouts to give themselves an opportunity to get the ball back?
Hill in the backfield, along with Johnson. Hill picks up about 4. This season, for every field goal, an extra point made, and we've got a lot of them tonight in terms of field goals. By participating universities, All-State making a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. A combination of 6 field goals tonight by the 2 teams.
First charge timeout of the half, Auburn. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2:49.
2:49 to go. Mississippi State trying to put this one to bed when we return. Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Look at downtown Starkville, Mississippi. I tell you, my partners, Ollie and Dusty and I, we had a great meal downtown yesterday. And this is the part of the country, folks, gladly I can say this is where healthy eating goes to die sometimes.
It's good eating, I know that.
On 2nd and long, Hill going to try and stay in bounds, but he is unable to. Dinson pushes him out. 2:44 to go, and they move the chains. Pardon me. Yeah, they well, 3rd and 1. Close.
Speaking of eating, Kylan Hill, Nick Fitzgerald, they've been eating tonight. 50 of the 55 carries have been Kylan Hill, Nick Fitzgerald for this Mississippi State rushing attack.
If they hang on, we know who's splitting the game ball tonight.
I don't know, when you break an SEC all-time record for most rushing yards, I think maybe you get that by yourself.
Good call. 7 on the play clock. Thomas in motion. Fitzgerald keeps it. A fitting end to the night. Nick, quick, touchdown, 21 yards.
Well, that's the exclamation point for Nick Fitzgerald and for Mississippi State. Backs were against the wall. They had to have a win, and they told us we got to get back to playing physical, being able to run the football. They've done that and some here tonight, partner.
Nick Fitzgerald came out motivated tonight. And this goes back to the consecutive losses. He wasn't going to let his team down. That's what he told us when he looked us in the eye yesterday during our meetings with him.
Well, let's take a look at a play that's been so successful tonight for this offense. Okay, we're going to pull the guard. We're going to get Kylan Hill out in front. It's going to be a simple quarterback counter. Block it up. And Nick Fitzgerald sees the hole, breaks one tackle, and it's off to the races. Physical blocking all night. Nick Fitzgerald's going to get talked about, as well he should. But this offensive line, Elton Jenkins, Deion Calhoun, Greg Island, Stuart Reese, these guys had quite the challenge against this big, bad Auburn front seven, and they brought physicality from the moment go tonight, and it's been all throughout this entire game. Outstanding job on the ground tonight for this Mississippi State offense.
And the Bulldogs are sky high right now.
They having any fun here tonight, Jonesy? Man.
Hey, I'm about ready to do my little whip too, my little shoot dance. That's going to be a flag. It'll come out to the 35-yard line for Auburn, first down and 10. But take a look at this rushing chart for Nick Fitzgerald. What does that tell you about where they've attacked this Auburn defense and how successful they were?
Well, I mean, it speaks to the interior of that offensive line. Also, so what we've seen a lot of sweeps around the end, right? We've seen Kylan Hill get to the perimeter. Well, a lot of these runs up the middle, they're faking to Kylan Hill on the sweep, right? Which, as the defense goes to the perimeter, it opens up things in the run game. So it's kind of like pick your poison, right? If you want to try to play the perimeter, we're going to use our quarterback. We're going to beat you between the tackles. You want to take away our quarterback, we'll give it to Kylan Hill and use speed to the perimeter.
On the verge of upsetting the number 8 team in the country. Going to make you sweat a little bit right now. Montez. Say it with your chest.
Well, this second half, man, he's been working on the side. It's just a simple speed rush. Been working on a backup offensive lineman, Calvin Ashley. Watch that rip, and he turns the corner, and he gets the quarterback on the ground.
Stidham completes it this time. That's Slayton. With 1:31 to go. Hey, we're so excited about this. ESPN, a love story. ESPN basketball, a love story. Our unprecedented 20-hour film that consists of more than 60 interconnected short stories over the next 4 Tuesdays. First episode, 7 Eastern, followed by the second at 9, 6 Pacific. You can only watch them on the app as well. Canella on the catch. That's ESPN's basketball, a love story. Speaking about, yeah, we can call it a love story. They're loving Nick right now. And finally, a smile. His counterpart, Stidham, incomplete at midfield. You know, it was interesting. Last week was a real emotional game for this Mississippi State team, facing their former coach, Dan Mullen. And I'd ask Nick Fitzgerald, do you have to be careful about not letting Florida beat you twice? Was there any carryover? And He looked us in the eye and said, no, we're ready to play. And he was right. Pass complete to Slayton. Still on the move and pushed out of bounds at the 29.
I think for a lot of these players, just getting past that aspect, you know what I'm saying, Jonesy? Just getting past that whole mental aspect of playing against your former coach. It's freed them up. It's allowed them to come out here. And let's face it, when you've lost 2 straight games in the SEC, your back's against the wall, and you are starving for a win. We saw a big response from this football team this evening.
They played with a lot of urgency.
And for the coach. Yeah. We saw it on their coach's face. He needed this win for himself and this program, too.
Fitzgerald breaking Tebow's rushing record for quarterbacks in the conference. Complete underneath to Cannella again. As we approach 1 minute to go. Auburn, the number 8 team in the country. This makes things a little bit more interesting in the SEC West. Of course, there's Alabama and then a bunch of jockeying behind them. Incomplete. Cannella couldn't squeeze it this time. And Alabama rolling again today against Arkansas. Tua looking as good as he has all season. Frighteningly good.
That team looks frighteningly good right now. You can see, if you take a look at Derek Brown on the bench, frustration all over his face.
Yeah. Stidham into the end zone. Incomplete. Slayton, the intended receiver. And look at Abrams saying, you're not going to catch anything. I don't care if it's early, middle, or late.
He's at a ball game here tonight, partner.
Let's look at the standings in the SEC. Mississippi State about to get on the board here.
LSU, 5th ranked team in the country, has already lost. Auburn, we got 48 seconds to go, and they're down 2 scores. We could have 3 top 10 teams go down this first Saturday in October.
And Gus Malzahn's team still trying to bounce back. Sweat.
You know, at some point, you got to help this guy, right? I mean, at some point, you got to give him a chipper. You got to put a tight end over there. Give him some help some way, somehow. Because Montez Sweat, he's putting a highlight tape together this second half.
Yeah.
I mean, Calvin Ashley plays guard quite a bit. They've moved him over to right tackle, and man, is he just taking advantage. The get off, the speed. You see him beat him right there, which is a simple rip, and he turns the corner so fluidly. Jarrett Stidham's got no time to do anything. I mean,
you love watching that, don't you?
Man, come on, man. Pass rushing, let's go.
I see you moving your arms, rip moves,
I think I'm
moves.
kind of rushing with him as I'm sitting there watching the replay. But again, like, if you're the offensive coordinator, right, you got to help. You got to help him when you're seeing a guy getting beat so bad. I had their spring game all the way back in April. And I'm watching the tape from last year, and I said, man, this kid really reminds me of Jason Taylor, eerily similar in size, stature, and the way they go about their business. GMs all over the National Football League salivating over the skill set of Montez Sweat.
He looks good in that uniform. 4th and Columbus, Mississippi to go. And a blitz coming. Stidham eluding harm's way and incomplete. He ducked for his life and fired incomplete for Slayton. That'll do it. And we can start writing the obituary on this game. The upset nearly complete.
Big win for Joe Moorhead, as we mentioned, his first SEC victory. And, you know, I think he had to kind of build himself up, give himself confidence, remind himself that he's a heck of a football coach, and his principles, his concepts, they do work. His offensive line, his team, they stepped up, and they showed out. And they matched a physical defensive front with big-time physicality in the run game here tonight.
Well, he told us that his offense was a little bit like Chipotle. Not a ton of ingredients, just a bunch of different mixes and matches. But the recipe was all good tonight for Coach Moorhead and Mississippi State as they win it 23-9 and snap their 2-game losing streak. Coach earning his first conference victory. Auburn, the third top 10 team to fall today. It was that type of Saturday in college football.
That's the appetizer for October.
Yes, sir.
Man, I can't wait for the full course.
Let's go downstairs to Molly.
Nick's just going over what he ate for breakfast because he just had one heck of a day. Nick, people doubted your offense. You just beat the number 8 team in the country. What does this do for your season?
It's huge. It's huge. In the past 2 weeks, we've really struggled offensively, defensively. They played great. We just haven't had their back. It kind of took to the day to kind of get it clicking again and get it going. Running the ball. Running the ball. We did a great job. Offensive line dominated the whole game. Couldn't ask for a better job by them. We had our way at the offensive line, and that's really kind of what gave us the edge.
You are the SEC's all-time leading rusher at the quarterback position. You're smiling when you hear that. It's a really tough league to do something like that. What does that mean to you?
It's huge. It's huge. A guy that a lot of people didn't think should even be in the SEC coming out of high school. Worked my butt off, got the starting job. Battled through a lot of adversity. And I have to give it all to my offensive line, though, honestly. Without them, I'm not running anywhere. So, it's a huge accomplishment for me, but it's a huge compliment to them.
You are physical and decisive in the run game. You took a lot of hits tonight. What was your mentality going up against their defensive front?
Keep going. It didn't matter how many times I got hit. I was going to get up and just keep going. I owe that to my teammates. I owe that to these fans, to my family who supported me my whole life. So it's an amazing feeling going out there and beating a team like this.
All right. Congratulations. Go celebrate the win. Thanks, Nick.
Final score 23-9. You heard the motivation for Fitzgerald. Some thought he wasn't an SEC-type quarterback. That was his motivational fuel. But Fitzgerald came through dripping tonight. Almost 200 yards on the ground, leading his team to the win. Stay tuned for SportsCenter. It's coming up next. For Molly McGrath, Dusty Dvorak, and our entire talented crew behind the camera you never get a chance to see, I'm Mark Jones. So long from Stark Vegas.